I'm recording this video with permission from Scholastic. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be reading chapter 29 of the Tale of Despereaux. I am sitting outside again. Today I have sunglasses on, so it is me under here. But I am sitting in the sun reading, and you know when you're reading outside in the direct sunlight, sometimes the page can just be like really blinding because it's white paper. That's what I'm experiencing, and it's really hard to see. So I'm going to keep my sunglasses on, but no, it's me, Miss Welch, under here. So in our last chapter, we learned a little bit about Despereaux and how she was hoping for something. She was hoping for change, and she ended up getting to be let into the castle. Remember that she escaped her uncle because the soldier who came to let him know that soup had been outlawed also realized that it was against the law to own somebody, own a person, own a girl, and so she got freed from her uncle and is now going to the castle because she doesn't have any parents or anywhere to go. So that's kind of where we're leaving off. So maybe make a prediction about where you think the story is going to go. We know she must have to interact or intertwine with Roscuro or Despereaux at some point because these characters have all been really tied together throughout this whole book. And so I'm curious to see where the author is going to take us. So this chapter is called Start with a Curtsy and Finish with a Thread. Despereaux's luck continued. On her first day on the job as a castle servant, she was sent to deliver a spool of thread to the princess. Mind, said the head of the serving staff, a doorwoman named Louise. She is royalty. You must make sure you curtsy. How's that? Shouted Meg. Remember, she can't hear very well. You must curtsy, shouted Louise. Cor, she said. Yes, ma'am. She took the spool of thread from Louise and made her way up the golden stairs to the princess's room, talking to herself as she went. Here I am, off to see the princess, me, Despereaux, seeing the princess up close and personal-like. At first off, I must curtsy, because she is royalty. So remember that when I read the title of this chapter, it's called Start with a Curtsy and Finish with a Thread. Now, Despereaux can't hear very well, so I think she thinks it says curtsy, but really, to curtsy kind of means to bow or something like that. At the door to the princess's room, Meg had a sudden crisis of confidence. She stood a moment, clutching the spool of thread and muttering to herself. Now, how did that go, she said. Give the princess the thread and then give her a curtsy. No, first the curtsy and then the thread. That's it. Cor, that's right. That's the order. Start with a curtsy and finish with the thread. She knocked at the princess's door. Enter, said the P. Meg, hearing nothing, knocked again. Enter, said the P. And Meg, still hearing nothing, knocked again. Maybe, she said to herself, the princess ain't to be home. But the door was flung wide, and there was the princess herself, staring right at Despereaux. Gore, she said, her mouth hanging open. Hello, said the P. Are you the new serving maid? Have you brought me my thread? Curtsy I must, shouted Meg. She gathered her skirts, dropped the spool of thread, stuck out a foot, and stepped on the spool, rocked back and forth for what seemed like quite a long time, both to the watching princess and to the rocking Meg, and finally fell to the floor with a Meggish thud. Whoopsie, said Despereaux. The P could not help it. She laughed. Oh, that's all right, she said, shaking her head. It's the spirit of the thing that counts. How's that? Shouted Meg. It's the spirit of the thing that counts, shouted P. Thank you, miss, said Meg. She got slowly to her feet. She looked at the princess. She looked down at the floor. First the curtsy and then the thread, Meg muttered. Pardon, said the P. Gore, said Meg, the thread. She dropped her to her hands and knees to locate the spool of thread. When she found it, she stood back up and offered it to P. I brought you your thread, didn't I? So here's Despereaux falling and saying, whoopsie. Lovely, said the princess as she took the thread from Meg. Thank you so much. I cannot seem to hold on to a spool of red thread. Every one I have disappears somehow. Why do you guys think that is? Why do you think that the red thread disappears? Does anybody remember what we learned earlier about in Despereaux's story? I want you to pause, maybe recall, think back to a lot of chapters ago. And after you've done that, remember that when Despereaux was being thrown into the dungeon, there was the thread master who rolled out a spool of thread and would tie up the prisoners and throw them into the dungeon. So the Princess P is really not quite sure where all of this thread is going, but we know as the readers that all of the mice are taking it. Are you making a thing? Asked Meg, squinting at the cloth in the P's hand. I am making a history of the world, my world, said the pea, in tapestry. See? Here is my father, the king, and he is playing the guitar because that is something he loves to do and does quite well. And here is my mother, the queen, and she is eating soup because she loved soup. Soup, gourd, that's against the law. Yes, said Princess. My father outlawed it because my mother died when she was eating it. Your ma's dead? Yes, said the pea. She died just last month. She bit the bottom of her lip to stop it from trembling. Ain't that the thing, said Meg. My ma is dead too. How old were you when she died? Bold was I? Said Meg, taking a step back away from the princess. I'm sorry then. No. How old? How old were you? Shouted the pea. Not but 6, said Meg. I'm sorry, said the pea. She gave Meg a quick, deep look of sympathy. How old are you now? 12 years. So am I, said the princess. We are the same age. What is your name? She shouted. Meggery Sow. But Mom just calls me Meg. I saw you once before, Princess. You passed by me on a little white horse. On my birthday it was, and I was in the field with Uncle's sheep, and it was at sunset time. Did I wave to you? Asked the princess. Eh? Did I wave? Shouted the princess. Yes, nodded Meg. But you didn't wave back, said the princess. I did, said Meg, only you didn't see. Someday I will sit on a little white horse and wear a crown and wave. Someday, said Meg, and she put her hand up to touch her left ear. I will be a princess too. Really? Said the pea. She gave Meg another quick, deep look, but said nothing else. When Meg finally made her way back down to the golden stairs, Louise was waiting for her. How long, she roared, did it take you to deliver a spool of thread to the princess? Too long? Guessed Meg. That's right, said Louise. She gave Meg a good clout to the ear. You are not destined to be one of our star servants. That is already abundantly clear. No, ma'am, said Meg. That's all right, though, because I aim to be a princess. You? A princess? Don't make me laugh. This, reader, was a little joke on Louise's part, as she was not a person who laughed, ever, not even at the notion as ridiculous as Meggery Sow becoming a princess. So that's it for this chapter. We learned that Meggery Sow kind of became friends with Princess Pea a little bit. It is interesting to see how Meggery Sow is kind of developing a friendship with the princess, and even though Meggery Sow can't hear, she doesn't know much about being in a castle, and the princess is this royal figure, they can still kind of meet in the middle and realize they have commonalities as well. So I want you guys to stay tuned for our next video, and I'll see you then. Bye everyone.